Do you hear it? The echoes of the past, the whispers of forgotten truths, fragments of memories lost in the shadows. Welcome to BRAINROT, Echoes, where we bring you stories long buried, unravel mysteries cloaked by time, and guide you through the darkest corners of the mind and the universe. Each video is more than just content. It's an echo resonating deep within, urging you to question, to wonder, to explore. Backend index pointing right, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join us in listening to the echoes the world tried to silence. The War of Grammatical Cases. Admiral Aisha Khan tried to keep a straight face, but the corners of her mouth kept twitching into a smile. Before her, Ambassador Glorgan of the Cathar Empire was quivering his entire green, scaled hide in utter indignation. "You dare to laugh in the face of our declaration of war?" Glorgan snarled, his dual red eyes narrowing menacingly. Aisha could only swallow a giggle. She really tried, but the way Glorgan's decorative head fins dramatically quivered every time he got angry was truly hilarious. "I apologize, Your Excellency," she managed to get out between chuckles, "but you have to understand how this looks from our perspective. It's a bit unusual." Glorgan tilted his necklace head, an action Aisha had learned was an expression of confusion. "Explain." "Jenkins, please pull up the relative military strength comparison." Aisha signaled to her aide, who was desperately trying to maintain a straight face while tapping away at his datapad. "Yes, Admiral." Jenkins' fingers flew across the holographic display, and a moment later, the chamber's central projection space lit up with a series of charts and figures. The Cathar Empire currently maintains a fleet of approximately 1,500 warships, with their most advanced vessels being roughly equivalent to our Phase 1 destroyers from about 150 years ago. Their ground forces number approximately 8 million personnel, equipped with primarily electromagnetic pulse and low-yield stun weapons. Glorgan's fins puffed up with pride. "Yes, tremble before the might of our glorious military." Aisha pinched the bridge of her nose, trying desperately not to start laughing again. "Jenkins, please continue with the human forces." "Of course." The United Earth Defense Force currently maintains an active fleet of 250,000 warships, with an additional 350,000 in reserve. Our ground forces number approximately 3 billion when including reserve personnel and colonial militia. This is not counting automated defense systems, orbital platforms, or our von Neumann constructor fleets. Glorgan's fins drooped slightly. But we have the element of surprise this time." Aisha couldn't hold back her laughter. "Your Excellency, we've known about your planned declaration of war for the past 8 months. Your encryption hasn't been updated since we first made contact 300 years ago. We've been reading your military communications like a children's storybook." "Impossible." The ambassador turned to their military attaché, who was starting to look distinctly uncomfortable. "General Kroenake, you assured me our codes were unbreakable." General Kroenake's throat sacs pulsed nervously. "Well, Your Excellency, you see, we haven't actually had to fight a war in over 5,000 years. Our military budget has been, shall we say, redirected to more pressing matters. Like that lovely new opera house on Cathar Prime." Aisha helpfully chimed in. "The one with the crystal waterfalls and zero-gravity dance halls? I have to say, the architecture is stunning. Our tourism board has been getting a lot of requests about it." The ambassador's complexion had shifted to a sickly shade of green. You know about that too?" "Oh, honey," Aisha said, her tone shifting to something almost maternal. "We know everything, including the fact that your entire war declaration is just a desperate attempt to distract your population from the fact that your government embezzled nearly 70% of last year's defense budget to fund various personal projects like that secret vacation estate on Vlor X9. Lovely choice of location, by the way. The sunsets there are gorgeous." The chamber had gone dead silent. Every alien representative was staring at the increasingly distressed Cathar delegation with expressions ranging from shock to barely concealed amusement. The ambassador's fins had completely deflated, hanging limply around his face like wet noodles. But we are the mighty Cthar Empire. We once ruled a quarter of the galaxy. Yes, 5,000 years ago, Aisha agreed patiently. Back when faster-than-light travel was considered cutting-edge technology and most species were still figuring out how to build stable fusion reactors. Times have changed, Your Excellency. Jenkins cleared his throat. Ma'am, if I may, I've just received an update from Fleet Intelligence. It seems the Cthar Ministry of War has been padding their military numbers. Their actual combat-ready fleet numbers closer to 300 ships, not 1,500, and most of those haven't had a proper maintenance cycle in over 2 decades. Aisha turned back to the ambassador with an expression of gentle concern. Your Excellency, I'm going to make you an offer, and I strongly suggest you consider it carefully. You can either withdraw your declaration of war right now, and we'll pretend this whole embarrassing incident never happened, or what? The ambassador's voice had risen to a squeaky whisper. Or we can accept your declaration, in which case, I'm legally required to inform you that the Human Liberation Fleet will arrive in your home system in approximately 32 minutes. We launched them the moment we decoded your war declaration 8 months ago. They've just been waiting in hyperspace for the signal. The ambassador's eyes all highlighted in horror. 32 minutes? But that's impossible. Your ships can't be that fast. Aisha smiled. Oh, that's right. You wouldn't know about our new quantum slip drive, would you? We kept those classified. They're quite impressive. 0 relative time dilation. Nearly instantaneous transit between any 2 points in known space. The papers our scientists published on the underlying principles just won this year's Galactic Science Prize. Though I suppose you missed that announcement, being busy with your war preparations and all. The general had begun slowly backing away from the ambassador. Your Excellency, perhaps we should consider the Admiral's generous offer. But what about our honor? The ambassador wailed. Our glorious heritage will still be intact if you choose the sensible option, Aisha said firmly. In fact, I'd be happy to have our diplomatic corps work with your government on a face-saving public statement. Something about a regrettable miscommunication and continuing our long tradition of peaceful cooperation. We can even throw in some technology-sharing agreements to help modernize your civilian infrastructure. Lord knows your people could use it. The ambassador's fins twitched feebly. And if we refuse? Aisha's expression serious turned for the first time. Then in 31 minutes, sorry, make that 30 now, approximately 12,000 human warships will appear in orbit around your homeworld. They will proceed to systematically disable every military installation, government facility, and piece of strategic infrastructure you possess. This will take them approximately 50 minutes, during which time our Marine Corps will deploy to secure your capital and major population centers. By dinner time, your entire empire will be under human administrative control and will be forced to launch a full investigation into your government's corruption and misuse of public funds. She paused. I should mention that our definition of corruption includes that rather impressive collection of blackmail material you've been keeping in your private residence's secure vault. The one you think is unhackable. The ambassador made a sound like a deflating balloon. I should also mention, Aisha continued cheerfully, that all of this is being broadcast live across the galactic network. Your citizens are watching this right now, all of them. We made sure of that. The ambassador's head whipped around to stare at the active broadcast drone floating near the chamber ceiling. His tentacles went completely rigid. So, Aisha said, spreading her hands, what's it going to be? Option A, where we all walk away from this pretending it never happened and your people get some nice infrastructure upgrades. Or option B, where, well, you can probably imagine how that ends. For what it's worth, I'm really hoping you pick option A. The paperwork for option B is an absolute nightmare. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Finally, the ambassador's shoulders slumped in defeat. We withdraw our declaration of war, he mumbled. I'm sorry, could you speak up? Aisha asked innocently. The broadcast drone might not have caught that. We withdraw our declaration of war. The ambassador practically screamed, his fins flailing in distress. Wonderful. Aisha beamed. I'm so glad we can resolve this diplomatically. Jenkins, please contact the fleet and tell them to stand down and get our diplomatic team ready to draft that joint statement. Oh, and have someone from the Corps of Engineers contact the Cathar Infrastructure Ministry. Let's get started on those upgrades right away. As the chamber erupted into a buzz of conversation and the defeated, thoroughly Cathar delegation was led away by their equally shell-shocked allies, Aisha felt a tug on her sleeve. "Ma'am," Jenkins whined. "There was never actually a fleet in hyperspace, was there?" Aisha winked at him. Of course there was, Jenkins. The fact that it was a training exercise practicing rapid deployment procedures that just happened to be taking place near Cathar space is purely coincidental. Jenkins grinned. "And the quantum slip drives? Oh, those are absolutely real. They just don't work quite as well as I implied." Yet, she straightened her uniform. "Now, I believe we have some infrastructure projects to plan. Let's show them why it's better to have humanity as friends rather than enemies." "Yes, ma'am." Jenkins paused. "Do you think they'll ever try something like this again?" Aisha peeked at the departing ambassador, whose fins were still drooping pathetically. "Somehow, I doubt it. But if they do," she smiled. "Well, we can always use another training exercise." As they left the chamber, Aisha could have sworn she heard one of the other alien delegates mutter, "This is why you don't mess with humans. They'll either kill you with kindness or just kill you, and somehow the kindness is worse." She couldn't help but smile. The best way to win a war was to make your enemy realize how absolutely ridiculous they were being, and if you could help them save face and improve their society in the process, well, that was just good diplomacy. Besides, she thought, those quantum slip drives will be working perfectly within a year. It was always good to stay ahead of the curve, just in case. The unexpected nuptials. They want what? Admiral Aisha Khan didn't even look up from her paperwork as Jenkins burst into her office. "Ma'am, you're going to want to see this." Jenkins was practically vibrating with barely contained amusement. "Princess Gloriana of the Cathar Empire has officially proposed marriage to you, ma'am." "Well, that's not too surprising." Aisha's head snapped up. "I'm sorry, what? The entire empire?" Jenkins could no longer contain his grin. "They want to reorganize their entire civilization as an academic institution. No, wait, as a marital alliance with us. They're calling it the Grand Galactic Union of Love and Cooperation. Everything." Aisha's voice cracked. "Everything," Jenkins confirmed, pulling up the holographic application. "Their proposal includes converting their planetary defense systems into lavish honeymoon resorts, transforming their military academy into liberal arts colleges, and," he squinted at the text, "establishing a department of interstellar romantic grammar and cultivation of affection." Aisha reached for her emergency tea stash. "Linda's behind this somehow, isn't she?" Actually, a cheerful voice called out as Dr. Linda Chen's hologram materialized in the office. "I had nothing to do with it this time, though I have to admit, their organizational structure is brilliant. Did you see the part about the tenure track positions for former war ministers?" "Linda, you can't turn an entire civilization into a wedding." "Tell that to the Cathar," Linda shrugged. "They've already started issuing certificates of affection to their entire population. The Emperor, excuse me, the Chancellor Emeritus, has enrolled in a PhD program in comparative peaceful governance." Jenkins pulled up another document. "According to their proposal, they plan to fund the entire operation through a combination of research grants on marital happiness, patent royalties from their quantum slip drive contributions, and," he paused, double-checking the text, "from General Kroneke's incredibly successful quantum gardening book series and associated merchandise line. The plushy quantum particle garden gnomes are particularly popular," Linda added helpfully. "They come with little lab coats and tiny trowels." Aisha took a long sip of tea. "Please tell me this isn't causing a diplomatic incident." "Oh, quite the opposite," Jenkins said. 3 other species have already inquired about their own civilization-to-nuptial union conversion processes. The Andromeda Confederation is particularly interested in their whole society marital transformation model. "The galaxy is becoming one giant campus of love," Aisha affirmed. "It's actually quite elegant when you think about it," Linda mused. They've managed to maintain their entire governmental structure, just with an academic meets romantic twist. Their military budget is now their romantic gestures budget. Their war council is a board of regents of love, and their intelligence services have been repurposed as the galaxy's most thorough relationship counseling system. The former ambassador is teaching a graduate seminar on the art of diplomatic content creation, a multi-tentacled approach to interstellar communication, Jenkins added. It's already oversubscribed for the next 3 semesters. Aisha massaged her temples. And what exactly do they expect Earth to do about all this? Well, Linda's grin turned mischievous. They're hoping we'll serve as their accrediting institution, sort of the galactic Ivy League mentor program for marital bliss. They want Earth to accredit an entire alien civilization. Think of it as a very, very large satellite campus for love, Linda suggested, with a wiggle of her fingers. Jenkins cleared his throat. There is one small complication, ma'am. Only one, Aisha asked dryly. Their enthusiasm for academic and romantic transformation has led to some unique interpretations of traditional practices. They've started settling departmental disputes through what they call intense academic romantic combat. Don't want to know? It's actually quite civilized, Linda assured her. Competing research teams present their arguments through a combination of peer-reviewed papers on relationship dynamics, interpretive dance expressing emotional states, and quantum-enhanced garden design for harmonious living. The winners get additional funding for their research and their choice of office plants. The losers have to attend mandatory PowerPoint training sessions on effective communication in relationships, Jenkins added. Aisha winced. That seems harsh. It's been remarkably effective at maintaining academic and romantic discipline, Linda noted. Nobody wants to sit through advanced slide transition techniques 101 for couples. But here's the real issue, Jenkins continued. Their approach to academic romantic hierarchy is spreading. The Orion League has already adapted their model of combat citation metrics, where administrative positions are assigned based on publication impact factors in relationship studies and successful grant acquisitions for joint ventures. The galaxy is becoming academically romantically militarized, Aisha realized with horror. More like militarily romantically academized, Linda corrected. Last week, the Andromeda Confederation resolved a border dispute through a joint research project on galactic cohabitation. Both sides got published in Nature Xeno's Love, and the former Cthar War fleet converted into mobile relationship stations. They're calling it the Flotilla of Floating Faculties of Affection, Jenkins reported. Each ship specializes in a different field of study. The flagship is now the USS Heartfelt Review, which houses their main library of romantic literature and central counseling facilities. Don't forget the garden deck, Linda added. General Kroenicke insisted every vessel maintain at least one hydroponic section for quantum botanical stress relief for couples. Aisha leaned back in her chair. So, let me make sure I understand this correctly. The civilization that tried to go to war with us less than a year ago now wants to become an officially accredited university system of love, has converted their entire military into an academic and romantic institution, and is spreading this model across the galaxy while maintaining the most aggressive research and development program in known space. But now it's all about love and harmony. Linda nodded. Did you know they've already submitted more patents this month on relationship happiness than their entire empire filed applications in the previous century? Their new motto is Scientia et Amore Potier Armis. Knowledge and love more powerful than weapons, Jenkins said, though they insist on singing it in 4-part harmony while performing interpretive quantum physics demonstrations of emotional bonds. The fins really add something to the wave function visualizations of shared feelings, Linda mused. Aisha looked between them. And we're just okay with this? Well, Linda grinned. It's either this or they go back to pretending to be a military power. Personally, I prefer them channeling their aggressive tendencies into competitive grant writing for love and interdepartmental relationship rivalries. Besides, Jenkins added, their quantum slip drive research team just had a major breakthrough. apparently combining their theoretical knowledge with Earth's engineering capabilities, and their new interpretive physics of emotion approach yielded unexpected insights. Interpretive physics of emotion. You'd be surprised how helpful it is to dance out quantum equations of the heart, Linda said. Something about the fin movements really helps visualize multidimensional probability spaces of affection. Aisha sighed deeply. Fine, but someone has to tell them that not every scientific paper needs a choreographed dance number and a garden design component. Linda and Jenkins exchanged glances. About that, Linda began. Don't tell me their latest submission to the Galactic Science Academy was a combination research paper, interpretive dance performance, and quantum synchronized garden show about cultivating harmonious relationships. It won in show in 3 categories, Jenkins reported, and is being adapted into a HoloVision series, Love Across the Cosmos, a Cathar journey. The galaxy's gone mad, Aisha declared. No, Linda corrected with a smile. It's gone academic and romantic. And isn't that so much better than going to war? Aisha couldn't help but laugh. I suppose when you put it that way. Though I have to ask, what happens if another species actually tries to start a real war now? Oh, that's the best part, Jenkins grinned. The Cathar have developed what they call aggressive academic romantic deterrence. Any hostile action is met with an immediate barrage of research proposals on conflict resolution, grant seminar applications for peace studies, and mandatory attendance at their full series of relationship workshops, including the PowerPoint sessions, Linda added with a wink. That's actually terrifying, Aisha admitted. Exactly. No one wants to risk having to sit through a 47-hour presentation on proper citation methodologies and multidimensional relationship contexts with fin-enhanced visual aids. As Aisha processed this, she couldn't help but marvel at the strange turn of events. Somehow, humanity had managed to transform a potential interstellar war into a galaxy-wide academic romantic revolution, complete with interpretive dance, quantum gardening, and the most terrifying weapon of all, mandatory PowerPoint training for healthy relationships. You know what the really funny part is? She said finally. This might be the most effective peacekeeping strategy in human history. Peace through aggressive education and affection. Exactly, Linda agreed. We should probably start preparing for the inevitable. What's that? Galaxy-wide freshman orientation for new unions. Linda's eyes twinkled. Just wait until they discover the concept of spring break, 4 couples retreats. As they all laughed, somewhere in the vast expanse of space, thousands of former warriors were eagerly preparing their research presentations on love, practicing their equation dances of affection, and tending their quantum gardens, proving once again that the pen, or in this case, the lab coat and the heart, was indeed mightier than the sword, especially when accompanied by interpreted fin dance and the threat of mandatory PowerPoint training. The end.